for giving this opportunity to us. By the way, happy Diwali to everyone. And my name is Vikas Kapoor. I'm a business development professional with EER Global. We are a global headhunting talent partner, and we help the global international companies to find the best candidate across the globe. So today I have two experts with me. Miri is a co-founder and co-CEO from EER Global. She will be addressing for HR challenges for the global companies for hiring and employing in India in 2024. And I have a Monica with me. She is a director of HR from Blue PI Consulting. She would be addressing for AI and Chat GPT in HR. So let's begin with, so Mary, can you share the screen?
Yes, so good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. As Vikas said, I'm one of the founders and CEO of EER Global. And today, what I would like to do with you is talk about the challenges that you as global companies have working from India and working globally while hiring and employing your people. And all the challenges that we are going to bring here are challenges that you actually told us in your registration form that you're dealing with, and we would like to share some light about ways to overcome those challenges. So without further ado, let me just share my screen. 1 minute.
So we will be sharing the material, the recording after finishing the webinar. So let's begin with the first slide, the question and answer. So as we know that the global companies, they are expanding their business, they're coming to India, they're building their team. And also the Indian companies, they are, spreading their business globally. So due to the culture differences, it becomes really difficult to enter into the new region or new territory where the culture is completely different, where the Indian culture is very different from others. If I compare with maybe German, Japan, or maybe USA style. So how to deal with such situation and how to overcome from them? So Miri, I would like to invite you here.
Sure, thank you, Vikas. So obviously I come from a different culture as well, and I've worked internationally all my life and lived in many countries. And I've noticed something that you must have noticed as well, that, cultures are different. And first of all, as a rule of thumb, I would like to make sure that we understand that each culture is different, and that before we start working in any country, we need to give this place a room. So to understand that the culture is different, to do the research about the country, the region you're dealing with, understand the general, vibe or the general characterism that people from that country have, and how you're going to deal with them. Like, don't assume that they would act the same way as you do, because they simply don't. So there must be a different way to deal with them. So it's not only to make the right research, but it also to apply it not just to you, but to your team. As an HR, it's your role to educate your teams about the new territory, about the new country, what is the costume there, how to do business, how to address people, and what's the favorite means of communication, how do people like to be referred to. So those are the things that you need to take a close look. So I just wanted to bring a very short case study from a few countries. I chose countries that I think some of you are doing business with, the UK, Germany, and Israel, because I'm an Israeli, just to give you a flair. So in England, as you know, I don't know if anyone here has ever worked with people from the UK, but I lived there for 10 years. And in many cases, I can say that there's a big difference between what they say, what they mean is completely different, and then what we others understand that they say. So I just want to give you a couple of examples, and again, you will get the presentation so you can have it for yourself. So what do you think that someone from the UK means when he says, I only have few minor comments to the presentation? What do you think they mean? Anyone? Okay, so I'll go. Basically, in many cases, if they say that they have few minor comments, they would mean, please rewrite the whole thing. It's really bad. And I, as an Israeli, what I understand is, okay, he said he has few minor comments. So, there's only few typos. Another example, so what if someone tells me, wow, that's a very, very brave proposal? So the person from the UK actually means, Miri, you are insane. This doesn't make any sense. And what I think that he's saying, wow, he thinks I'm very courage. So, those are three completely different things, and we can go on and on. But just to give you the flair, if someone says that you're very interesting, it doesn't mean that he's saying you're interesting. Sometimes it means that it's nonsense, it's boring completely. And I think that when they say that, they're very impressed with me. So you can get, you can get a feel of it, but in many cases, what they actually say is not what they mean and not what we understand. I can tell you that, for instance, in my culture, the Israeli culture, we are very, very direct, which is also something that could be difficult for other cultures who don't say everything upfront. Other things that's important to pay attention to. So using like bold capital letters in an email, it can be like shouting for them. So don't do this unless you have something which is really, really important and aggressive to say. Otherwise, if you write bold and like this in bold and capital letters, it's like you're really, really shouting. Listening is really, really important. Like, don't just come and assume that you're going to speak and say what you want to say. First, take a step back, listen to what they have to say first. It's unpolite to just barge into someone, even when you call them. You can't just call them and expect that they're free to speak with you. So it's okay, and it's a good practice to ask someone, do you have a few minutes? Can you talk to me for a minute? Are you busy? Can we talk? Like, be really extra polite. Just, before you engage in a conversation, you can't just go and say what you really want. Maybe try to warm up the relationship first. Is everything okay? How was your weekend? How do you feel? Just try to ask like an open question to engage with the person in front of you, even if you do business with them. I think it's very rare to hear from a person in the UK the word no. It's very difficult for them to say no. So instead of saying no, they will find like other ways, alternatives. And so although you will not hear the word no, you have to understand it. You actually heard it, but in a different way. This is very difficult. Schedule. Everything is scheduled. You can't take, like I said before. So make sure you plan ahead. You schedule the meetings. You schedule phone calls. So don't just assume that everyone is free for you. And of course, your voice. I know that in India and also in my culture in Israel, we speak very loud, right? This is how we speak. It's almost like we're shouting, right? Everything is very messy. People in the UK, as you know, they're very polite. They speak in a much more lower voice, even like that. So everything, just you have to kind of tone yourself a little bit. And this is just a very small example to a culture that most of you know somehow. And let's talk about German people. So let's talk about how they act and feel. So first of all, again, what I'm saying here is generalization, and not like all the people from the UK are like that, or all the Germans like that, of course, and not all the Indians are the same. But it's just a rule of thumb, general guidelines, just to pay attention to. So many of the Germans, emotions they're not like, they can be very emotional inside, but they're not going to show it. They're not going to talk about it, and it's just off topic. It's not relevant. They're very accurate. Everything is in order. They like rules and they adhere to them. It's, if you go in a street in Bombay or in Delhi, right, there are no rules. Everyone in the same street together, right? So I think that if you look at the German people, for them, this is very chaotic. So they need everything to be very organized. They don't like to take risks. Before they do anything, they would conduct very in-depth analysis to understand. They will trial and error. They take their time. They plan everything, and they're very, very skeptic about something that wasn't planned, and they don't want to disturb others. So, for instance, if someone dies, in my culture, the person doesn't work for 1 week, of course, more. Someone in your family dies, and people come and visit you and bring you food for a whole week. That's the custom. In Germany, people, if someone dies, they will not visit them because they don't want to disturb them. It's such a big difference. Let's talk about Israelis, for instance. So there's a, if you take the word Israel and just break it into what we actually are. So just imagine what it's like to do business with someone from Israel, because Israelis are very informal. You know, you feel like you're their friend immediately because they have no boundaries. They're very straightforward. They like to take risks. They're very, very, very ambitious, very entrepreneurial. They're loud. We speak loud, and we like to improvise. So try to imagine someone from Israel trying to make business with someone in Germany. It's very difficult. They're completely the opposite. So they need to find the middle ground between them in order to have very good work relationship. You are on mute, Vikash.
Mary, you very nicely explained that every country have their own culture, language, and the lifestyle. If I particularly talk about India, India is a diversified country with different culture. If any global company, they are entering into Indian market with their global strategy into their product and services, definitely they have to adapt the local culture to fit into that environment. So how the global company has to become a global company? So what do you recommend to that?
Sure. So when I say local company, I mean, in one hand, to be very global, you have branches everywhere, but on the other hand, you have to maintain your locality, you know, the rules, the benefits, the customs. Each country is different, and you need to maintain the line between being a local company and adhere to the rules there and being global company. So first thing first, the first thing you need to remember is that one size doesn't fit all. Some of the companies that I work with, I noticed that they want to have like one rule for everyone and everyone is doing the same. It's just impossible. Even McDonald's, for instance, you know, if you go to McDonald's, even just in India, in different regions, I think that the meat that you will be served is different. You know, in India, people don't eat cow. In Israel, we have a very special meat that we eat. It's called kosher. In Arabic countries, the meat is called, it's not allowed to eat halal meat. So it's different. And this is McDonald's, right? It's supposed to be everything is the same. So even if you're a smaller company, it's very, very important that you understand what is the regional customs, what is the regional benefits, what is required by law, or what is even not by law, what is the common practice there, and make sure you provide it to your people, you provide it to your clients, and you live by it. This is like according to your vision. And on the other hand, yes, some ground rules can be identical for the company, but it needs to be very clear what is common to the entire global company and what is not. And it's okay to have those differences because each country is different. So don't try to make it like one for all. In terms of employment law, so this is another thing that there are many, many differences between countries, and you need to make sure you understand them. So where would you find them other than, you know, Google and ChatGPT? Each country has a government website, and there is always a section that relates to employment law. And in each country, you can find the staff unions, and you can find the most senior staff union in each country that represents usually most of the employees in that country. They would typically have an employer line, an employer, even an email address that you can ask questions. But before you go to any country, it's important that you highlight to yourself what are the rules in employment law, what are the benefits that you need to give according to the law, and not only according to the law, what is the common practice. If in the UK, in London, it's common that the company pays for the gym, although of course it's not obliged by law, but all the other companies do, then you should do it too. So it's very important that you understand those things. So understanding the basic rules and the common practice in each country.
And Mary, if I would say in India, there's a very competitive market for the talent
Yes.
vendors. And it becomes really difficult to choose which recruiting partner is the better one, who can help to
Yeah.
the companies to find the best candidate, who can match their expectation, who can add the value. So what do you recommend to choose the best recruiting partner in India or maybe globally?
Okay. So I think it's important to choose a global partner that perhaps has presence in other countries. Maybe the company can be like a one-stop shop for all your hiring needs globally. It can be very convenient. If the company has like a very, very strong presence in India, it's good because it means that, they understand your business, they understand the culture, but they also do business in other countries. So they can provide you the whole mechanism to work globally. It's good to work with, a company that is established, very, very well-rounded, but on the other hand, is boutique. So you're not just one-off, and it's not a company, it's like, a very big company that will not relate to you. You want someone that cares, someone that, will give you the best service. So something in the middle that will work. I can say that like we are very global. We have strong presence in India, like 40 people in India, as well as an international team. And we can work globally in many countries.
Okay, sounds good. And also I would say that, lots of companies, they have their internal team, in-house team who can manage their recruiting
Mhm.
assistants. For the niche hiring, for the most of the company, they are rely on the vendor who are specialized into the niche requirement placement. Because due to the dynamic nature of the technology and the skill set, it becomes really difficult to find the best candidate for the niche requirement because the demand will be high and the supply will be less. Then how do you deal with that? And what recommendation would you like to give? Because most of the client, they would like to know that, what different you do, what
Yeah.
different unique research methodology we can provide to the client to find the
Okay.
best candidate.
Okay, so I would like to divide my answer to two. First is about how to deal with the with the niche recruitment, and then why we're different. So no one likes to compromise, right? In life too, you want to find the best option, right? This is how we're trying to think, and I agree with it. But if you are dealing with a niche market, first of all, it's really important to understand the data. Okay, so let's say you're aiming to a very specific role, you need to understand what's out there, okay? Because you can't also hunt for the impossible. So you need to understand in the niche, in your niche, how many people, and in the geographic region, what's out there? How many people are there that could be a potential match? Are you paying in the right salary range or not? And you need to look carefully into that and see how realistic is your search is, if it is realistic at all. So looking at it without compromising is checking whether it's realistic, and if not, maybe make small changes to the search. You can drop maybe one or two elements from the job spec, or you can decide that you would like to take someone who is more hungry, more eager, and train them to become what you want them to be. You can even think of, taking someone that is not exactly in the field that you want, and again, train them. I believe that the most important thing in a candidate is his personality. This is something that you cannot train. It's something that you cannot teach. And yeah, of course, you're not going to take a street cleaner to become a rocket science engineer. Of course not. But if someone is a sales manager in a SaaS company and sold cybersecurity to banks, and now they want him to sell security into airports, right, it's not a big deal. Like if you take the person that comes from banks and he's coming with the Rolodex, this Rolodex, it will end at some point. What happens then? I want the person who is active, proactive, who will go and bring more clients. So the personality is what matters for me. That's how we do our hiring anyway, internally. So it's thinking about your search, trying to unlock the bottlenecks and how you overcome them, and not just go in one direction and don't stop. Like always being constant thinking about what you're looking and try to make sure that you're doing the right search. In terms of our methodology, so we divide our team into two. half of the team are sourcers and half of the team are recruiters. The sourcers that we have been with us for 5 to 10 years. All of them understand, you know, very good the international market, and they know how to create a database. So we have like 200 open positions, and we create a database for each position that we have from scratch. And the database includes, we have tools that enable us to find phone numbers, email addresses, and we're very, very aggressive, I would say, in our approach to candidates. So we approach each candidate few times in few different ways that include WhatsApp messages, SMS, approaching on social media and cold calling. So it's very aggressive. And you need a partner that really does all those things in order to connect with the candidates, to make sure that they've kind of covered every stone and changed everything in order to find the right talent. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Well, the next one is very tricky. In India, the candidate ghosting is a very common practice because if I would say during the interview process, lots of candidates, they show lots of enthusiasm, energy, and interest, and they sign the offer, but they decline the opportunity. It really affects to the company's vision, the time, and definitely the budget. So how to deal with that?
Okay. So first of all, I'm always curious as to why that happens, and this is something that is a root thing in the culture. I really can't explain, but we've been working for almost 18 years globally, and yes, it's a very, very wide phenomena in India, which I can't explain the reason for it, but over the years, we did find ways to overcome it, and I would like to share it with you. So, first of all, let's talk about the contract. It's very important that the contract includes a clause that says that if they work for you, they cannot work for another company. Okay, just to put it out there. It's also giving them the psychological sense of being committed to you. It's very important for them to understand your company culture. So make sure that throughout the process, you explain them how you work, how is your culture, what do you do, and how you do it. It's important that your offer is competitive enough, so they will have no reason to ghost or to go anywhere else. They need to know exactly what they're getting, and you need to know what is their expectations, and to make sure that if you want them, you meet their expectations. Throughout the process, it's important that you understand where do you stand if there are other offers. So it's okay to ask, do you have any other offer in your hand? What are the other companies offering to you? And what do you like best? So be very open and very upfront, because you need to assess where you are at with them. So if we're choosing passive candidates, which is what we normally do because we assume that they're the best candidates, in many cases, they wouldn't have any other offers because they weren't even looking. So that's also eliminating your competition. Throughout the recruitment process, try to highlight all the time how different you are from the other companies. How different is your career path, how they can grow in the company, why they should stay with you. So try to also approach candidates who have been in their role for more than 1 or 2 months, because and if they have like a notice period of more than 2 months, it could be very difficult for you, because during that time everything can change. So on one hand, this clause talks about, if someone has a long notice period, unless he's a real talent, try to see how you mitigate it, because in 2 months they can really change their mind. And also try to look after candidates that have been there with the company for more than 2 months. So they're more tend to be more established and will not run away. Or if you do get someone in their notice period, make sure you are in close touch with them in the notice period, okay? Send them gifts, send them joining bonus, call them, because it's a really long time. During that time, they can, go. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
And we have seen that, after pandemic, lots of employees, especially from the tech industry, they prefer to work from home. And there are few companies, they ask the employees to come to office. That's again the challenge to bring the employees to the office. So
Yes.
what do you recommend for that?
Okay. So first, I would like to share this survey that we conducted just last February. Obviously, the question of how to work, where to work from the office, from home, what do people want, what do your employers want? It's a big question that comes every quarter from all the global companies, and it's a big issue for everyone. So that's why we decided to conduct this survey. So it was during February this year, and the 219 VP HR from global companies, from global tech companies, answered the questionnaires, and I thought it would be good to share the results with you. So as you can see, the majority, 66% of the companies do allow 2 to 3 days working remotely. 23% of the companies allow one remote day, and like only very limited company would not allow, so like 4%, and 7% work like fully remote. So you can see that, most of the companies do allow some flexibility. And I can tell you that in bottom line, your bosses probably want the staff in the office. They want to see the people. They say that, it's close to your eyes, close to your heart. But we know that staff wants to work from home. So you need to find the middle ground, which is what a lot of the companies in the surveys did, to make sure that you address the people's needs, because they're your talent, they're the most, you rely on them to do the work, and you need to make sure they're happy. But again, you need to please your bosses too. So to find this middle ground is totally important. And this is actually relating to the other topic that people ask us so much in the registration form. How do we retain the best talent? How do we retain them? So, of course, benefits and money, and we can talk about culture and many other things. But I can tell you one thing. In our company that has been around 17 years, we have a very long and a long period of turnover. People do stay with us for 10 years, even in India, 5, 10 years and more. And there is one thing that we give our people, and Vikash can say, we give them fully flexibility. Okay, we do have an office here in Israel, but everyone else works from home and they work remotely, and they get 100% flexibility. So we manage them by targets and objectives, and they need to do that. They know what they're doing, but they receive our full backup for being flexible and do their day, and they stay because of that. I truly believe that they get this trust and they stay with us. So this is my advice because money is nice. People of course would move, and good benefits and good culture, I'm sure that people stay. But I can see that from this live demonstration, that this is something that money cannot buy. Like the trust and the flexibility is very, very important. And people will stay with you and will stick to you for many, many years if you allow them to have a very, very good work-life balance. I know it's not for everyone and it's very rare, but just something to think about. So just towards the end, just to tell you who we are. So we are a EER Global. We are a one-stop shop for finding global talent for international companies. We have 4 practices. We work in recruitment of executive recruitment, tech recruitment, headquarters position, and sales. We have 80 employees worldwide. About half are in India. We've been in business for 17 years, almost 18. I do have another founder, another business partner, and we've been managing the business for all those years, and we are also the owners. Vikash here, my colleague, has been with us for a few years managing the activities in India, and we are here for you if you have any questions that relates to like hiring and employing people in India or anywhere else on the globe. Any questions? Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us and to talk to us now or later. Was there anything on the chat? I wasn't sure. No. Okay. Or any feedback?
If anybody has a question, that they can unmute themselves and they can ask the question.
Okay. So if no questions, first of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and it was nice to meet you and here for your questions even later.
Thanks, Marie. So I have another speaker, Monica. She will be addressing for AI and ChatGPT in HR. This will be really interesting that we need to anticipate into that. So Monica, over to you.
Thank you. It was quite an interesting conversation. I really loved it because I think it's very, very important for all of us in India to get understand the entire global and the local kind of a setup. We are truly looking forward for that. So thank you so much for taking out time.
Thank you.
Now it's time for us to start working towards something. I believe most of us have started using it now, but it's important that we try to know more about it. So just allow me a minute to share my screen. I would require a screen sharing.
Yes, it's not. You don't have it already. 1 minute. Are you doing it, Vikash, or I?
You can do it.
Okay, I'm doing it. 1 minute.
Thank you so much. And yeah,
Monica,
today
can
we
you
have
share
a
your screen?
Diwali celebration in our office.
Yes.
So it's
very nice.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So that's where we are. Thank you so much, everyone. And I really look forward to have an interacting conversation. So please, because my screen is in a share segment, I might not be able to check on the questions on the chat. In case you hear something on the chat, please quickly let me know. And I should be able to respond immediately. The first one is like, we are here for a transforming HR in 2024. So while I believe most of us have started utilizing, leveraging ChatGPT and AI for our strategic leadership, I believe I wanted to call out some specific instances with most of the organization have started implementing, or they're going to be proceeding further with this particular segment. So I believe the HR landscape have actually taken a completely transformative shift from an AI powered like ChatGPT, DALI, or you name plenty of it, Gemini, Copilot, and you name all those tools. They are all kind of adding a lot of value to each one of us for making our repetitive work become much more better. But these are definitely playing a pivotal role in helping us redefine our strategic conversations within our leadership domain. So this presentation, primarily, I'm going to be focusing on organizing the cutting edge technologies, streamlining HR processes, and also enhancing how we can focus about in talent management and drive future focused decision making. So that's something which I'm going to be talking about. But before we proceed further, I really wanted to hear it from each one of you to understand which are the challenges which are actually most pressing for you in 2024. So let me just quickly share it on the chat so that you can answer these particular questions as well. Give me a minute. I'm not able to edit the poll question once. Okay, I can't do that in that case during the conversation. No problems. Let me just put that question onto the chat. Can you all give me an options out of these couple of questions which I have highlighted? Just quickly copy paste and give me an answer amongst these. Which one do you believe is the most challenging one for you? So is it talent acquisition in a hybrid world, bridging skills gaps in tech and data field, enhancing employee experience and well-being, adapting to rapid technological changes, building a cultural program? So yeah, Aditya, so you mentioned bridging skill gaps in tech and data, managing regulatory compliance in a global workflows. Interesting. Can anybody else also share their viewpoint? Skill gaps, perfect. Talent retention, awesome. Yeah, I think we all are almost sailing through the similar challenges, but I really wanted to hear more from the people. It's very, very important for us to know what are the key challenges you're facing. Okay, so I totally agree, and these are definitely the relevant challenges which you and I are really facing. If I talk about the summarization, these are the challenges which is happening across and what all other organizations have tried to solve for it. So most of the organizations are finding it a shortages as one of the reasons. So high demand of specialized skills in AI and cybersecurity, with internal upskilling initiatives by companies like AT&T, we will realize, understand there are a lot of new technologies which are coming up. You might not be able to get an expertise from outside currently. You have to focus on training them, grooming them, and hiring certain senior leadership members to bring those particular technologies in-house and build that and create that nurture internally for yourself. Second major problem statement which most of the organizations were facing was remote work dynamics. So globally, remote work dynamics expand talent pools, add regulatory complexities, because I think Cisco and Infosys also faced across while people are working from different parts of the world. We have different tax limitations, tax challenges, government regulations while people fly from one place to another, but they start working from anywhere and any part of the world. That is adding a lot of complexities in the organizations currently. That's the reason they are trying to figure out some localized corrective tax regimes and the solutions, how they can mitigate and safeguard themselves. The third one is enhancing employee experience. So Microsoft and Google investing heavily in the mental health and the well-being programs to support remote employees. We have got a statistics which talks about a huge number increase on the cases of depression and the mental health challenges which people are facing right now, to balance working from home, working from office, and managing their relationship, giving a balance, extended working hours, because while you're working from home, your day starts pretty early, your day ends pretty late. There is no major overlap coming up. So it is very, very important for us to keep a tab on how are we really helping our people on ground. Another major important thing which has now come up as one of an expectation from all the HR leaders, that data driven decision making. There used to be a time when people believe, okay, if you're not that good in mathematics, or if you're not good into economics or something like that, you can think about getting a job into HR. That's a safeguarded job for you. Versus the scenario have completely drastically turned it around. The expectations from the leadership level from HR is primarily coming into a manner that you should be able to drive decisions with a lot of data, a lot of research, a lot of right and relevant information. So it is important for us to keep ourselves updated with how we can get the right information. So it is very, very important for us. These are the core major challenges which is happening across the globe, and I don't believe saying shying away that none of the countries are better off in any of these challenges. They all are undergoing with similar challenges altogether. Now, these are the set processes for our HR. Now, coming back to the main topic, which is an introduction, I'm going to be focusing right now primarily to the chat GPT, because I will also try and do a little research along with you so that you can also learn it. I want each one of you to open chat GPT either in your phones or a laptops, whichever technology you're using right now to connect with this session. So each one of you should open, even if it is a basic or an advanced, whatever level of chat GPT you're using, please open it. We will quickly run certain problem statements here live, and we will evaluate how do you think the kind of a response is coming out of it. Okay. So the first one which I have is talking about an introduction. So what I feel, what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is definitely a powerful language model developed by OpenAI that can engage in natural conversations, answers questions, and assist with a wider range of tasks. So we need to, if you considering the time frame, I'm not able to brought in the entire encoder, decoder, how does it really came into the picture, chat gpt really, the entire gen ai is module is segmented in a segment where they capture the words into numbers. From the background, they have actually categorized each alphabets against the numbers. The moment you type in the kind of your query, automatically there is a decoder which runs the entire algorithm at the back end, where it transforms your message in the code language, which is a number language, and the response against to that is getting decoded from there. So encoding and decoding, which happens from the background, it happens in a very fast pace to ensure that you get the right and a relevant information. The better the kind of a sequence of the question you're putting it across, the efficient response you might be able to get it. Okay. What are the key capabilities? So ChatGPT can help with tasks like resume review, interview process automations, policy drafting, and employee training, all while providing personalized and contextual responses. It is very, very important for you to ensure that you train your chat gpt or the gen ai as per your requirement. Your gen ai should be able to understand who you are as an individual, what kind of level you are maintaining, what kind of a role you are playing in your current organization, and understanding about your organization, so it can have a psych to translate the viewpoints which you're talking from a segment perspective. So the potential applications are like, by leveraging ChatGPT, HR professional can streamline their administrative tasks, enhancing employee experiences, and free up their time to focus on strategic initiatives. Because a lot of things which we are doing on a day-to-day basis can be easily transformed with the help of ChatGPT. And I think by now each of us are already aware about this functionality. So now coming back to our next steps, which is the question. I quickly wanted to understand, how do you currently use ChatGPT in your HR task? Can you please quickly respond to me on the chat? How do you currently use ChatGPT in your HR task? Can any one of you please respond onto the chats?
So you want us to respond on chat or voice?
Yes, just respond on the chat. Just respond onto the
Okay,
chat.
okay.
Yes. Okay. So we are saying that yes, for reports, job descriptions, policy drafts, policy drafting letters. Yeah, I totally agree. That's such a boring task of having a lot of policy drafting letters, same things doing again and again, checking on the spellings, checking on the grammar. That is such a boring task which each one of have done for ages now. What else? Drafting policies, branding, programs, events, PPTs, database. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think you kind of made sure that we're talking really relevant thing, how we can utilize and leverage the tools. So certainly, thank you so much for these ones. So let's understand how ChatGPT can really help HR altogether. So definitely, ChatGPT is a language model designed to assist HR tasks, supporting efficiency and engagement. So that's the only purpose primarily. We should be able to make sure that it is helping us do our work efficiently, fast enough, in a much more accurate and a structured manner, rather than focusing on alignments and everything. It is giving us a clear cut structure and we can utilize that. So immediate benefits are definitely for a reduced repetitive workload, personalizes employee experiences, and enhances productivity for HR leaders. ChatGPT can also automate responses to FAQs, support schedulings. You can also kind of put some schedulers that I would look forward to have a daily um, uh, HR quotes or a messages as per this particular business dimensions, and looking forward to engage our people. ChatGPT will ensure that every day in the morning you should be able to get this particular output, and you should be able to carve that and plan it and schedule it as per your requirements. You are able to draft documents and assist with employee engagement. So these are the kind of basic things which most of the HR people are currently doing. Now let's get into a small task for each one of you. So using ChatGPT for small HR task, we can do a lot of job description writing. So tailored job description and everything. I really want each one of you to pick up any of these tasks and just give me a response what ChatGPT is giving it to you on the chat immediately. Just just pick up any of these tasks. Either draft a CEO job description, or draft an onboarding plan for a CEO, or draft a performance review for a delivery head, or draft a compensation strategy for onboarding a CEO. Out of these four, just quickly see what ChatGPT is giving a response to you and give it to me on chat right away in next um, 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes to come back on what ChatGPT is giving you an output currently on any of these tasks. Do you want me to repeat? So I am saying, let's make it much more simpler. Let's draft a CEO job description, and I want you to give me an output by 12:25 IST. I hope, because maybe all of you are trying right now and giving it a response to me on the chat. Let me also do a ChatGPT requirement with you. Can you see my ChatGPT screen currently? Give me a thumbs up, because
Not yet,
yes.
not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay, so I just enter
I
draft
don't
a
think
CEO job description.
we're
Is
able
it
to paste it on the chat.
you're this much? Okay, it's coming huge. So okay, let's see. You're able to see my screen currently?
Yeah.
So I've just entered the same draft a CEO job description, and this is how I have received it. And I believe most of you would have got the similar kind of a response, correct? Give me a smiley or a thumbs up if that works out from our reactions. If it is kind of a similar job descriptions, yes. Okay, perfect. So this is something which you have got with the current one. Now, quickly, can you give me a thumbs up if any one of you have heard about CREATE for prompt engineering, have utilized this concept so far? So Divya also came up with a little better details into it. I'm glad you're able to specifically call out for a cybersecurity company with 25 years of experience and the location as Bangalore. And you're able to get more details to it. How many of you, give me a thumbs up if you know about this CREATE program for prompt engineering? Give me a thumbs up, and if it is not, then give me a thumbs down. So that I know that yes, you're yet to understand this concept. Yes, you know, Mahesh, perfect. Okay, Aditya is yet to understand. Anybody else? Okay, let me now just share my screen. Okay, perfect. Let's do this. Okay, so this is an amazing create framework by Dave Briss. So he has actually clarified this prompt engineering basics, which really can help each one of you to get the right prompt with the very specific thing which is required to get an output in the beginning itself. So it's like first thing which calls out as a clarify. Clarify is like clearly define the task, goals, and the desired output you have. Next is reframe. So you rephrase the prompt to provide additional context or a constraints. You expand. So make sure you add relevant details, like just now Divya added the requirements like cybersecurity, number of years of experience, the locations, and the organization basic information. So you need to really expand to provide all the relevant requirement what comes to your mind while you have to start drafting. Don't assume what whatever ChatGPT gives you, you do an editing later. Don't do that because that will complicate the entire process. It's very important whatever information do you have at the beginning, you provide those information to the ChatGPT to give you a best response outside to that. Fourth one is analyze. So review the ChatGPT response and identify areas of improvement. Anytime you believe the first output which has come up is your right output, sorry, that's not going to be. Even if you look at the chat gpt, it clearly has a disclaimer underneath, it can make mistakes. So make sure that you focus clearly. So at least I would recommend at least bare minimum 3 or 4 iterations before you really launch that particular pick up that particular content for your use. Tailor it, so refine the prompt idea based on the analysis to better achieve the desired outcomes. And finally evaluate. So assess the final ChatGPT response and determine if it meets the original objectives. Whenever you plan to take focus on your building a policy document or any job description or any onboarding program, make sure that you focus that why are you really looking forward to get that particular task being created, who are your audience, how do you want it to expand. So what all information is required to be shared in the beginning so that it gives you a right output, like your organization detail, your expectation, your role expectation, what you believe, what are the challenges you're facing in that particular role, and how do you wish to analyze that. If you focus on this create model or a framework for any gen ai, when you are able to put it across, I can assure you it will make your life look way too better. And that is the differentiator between you and anybody else using the same chat gpt to give you a better output. We have tried and tested. There was one organization who had a content writer, 20 content writer, and they were just given one basic requirement and they came up with 20 different sample designs. just because the kind of an expansions and the iteration they were putting it to add their creativity to it. It has to speak about your creativity. So please make sure this is very, very important. Now let me help you understand this from more of an HR perspective, and let's focus on the same question. So let's draft a CEO job description for a IT services organization using a create functionality. And how does it work? So this is how I'm going to be putting this requirement. So I'm going to be saying that I am an expert in an HR leader with 20 years of experience, and I'm going to be putting all of this in my chat GPT requirement. 20 plus years of experience in executive recruitment, specializing in C-suite roles within the IT and technology service sector. You understand the unique demands of leadership in a fast evolving methods. So we need to draft a comprehensive job description for a CEO position at a mid-size IT organization, focusing on key skills, qualifications, and responsibility. Start by asking about the company's core values, business goals, and specific leadership qualities for the value. Okay, so it is very important that we craft which all values do we want the person to focus upon. It is primarily you're looking out for a leadership skills, you're looking out for majorly focusing on time management or an expansion. Whatever your key value system do you have, you need to call that out. Okay, the next one is we need to give an example, draw inspiration from successful CEOs in the IT sectors like Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, and Mark Hurd. Highlight qualities like transformational leadership, a growth mindset, and innovation focused management. You provide these inputs, and the kind of an output you will see is going to be way too better. Use industry specific language that reflects the organization's size and growth stage. That means, do you want a person to take your journey from a $1 billion to $20 billion or a $20 billion to $50 billion? What's the expansion plan you're expecting that individual to focus upon? Are you planning for an organizational expansions toward multiple countries, or you're looking out for that person to solely responsible for one APAC region or Europe region or NAMER or whatever is the specific category do you have? And then write the response in the format. So you also give that I need a formal job description. Start with a brief summary of the role, followed by a core responsibilities, qualifications, and that's an output which I'm expecting from the chat GPT to give it to me. And the last one is like consider industry specific competencies like tech forward looking things, familiarity. Optionally, add a few strategic questions to help refine the candidate profile based on the company needs. So I've also added my company details into this one. Focus it primarily for Blue Pie Consulting. So because that's how where I work for, and that's what I've added. And I will quickly share you a tailored job description. I'm sharing my screen of my, I believe I was sharing. So this is the screen, and this was the previous job description which we received, which was generic. And this is now they have come up with the strategic questions to guide us. So what is the top values Blue Pie Consulting holds? Integrity, customer focus. So it's asking me about the specific questions. I will give how many years, what are the strategic priorities for Blue Pie in the next 3 to 5 years? Provide growth in marketing. So it is asking about leadership traits and the current challenges which we are facing, which we want as CEO to help us. The moment I'm going to be responding to these all questions, we will have a better customized job description. So it just required another 5 minutes of prompt engineering to understand what is that create focus which is required for that particular task. It will have a lot of follow-up questions, and after that, once you receive an output, you will have an amazing output which is like perfect for you to immediately download and execute. Give me a thumbs up if you believe this is good to go, or if you want a little more collaboration, please speak up. I'll be able to reiterate further on to it. Perfect. Thank you. considering the time, because I believe I wanted to make sure that we are opening it up for a Q&A as well, and I want to answer a lot of questions. So that's the reason I'll try to limit myself. Give me a minute. So this create model is very, very important. Please make a note of this one. Please ensure that you start using this create model whenever you're using any prompt engineering or any focused task which you have it from any of the Gen AIs. Okay. Moving on, AI in HR. So there are certain case studies which were launched. So most of these organizations have started building an IT help desk chatbot, or you name it as an HR chatbot. I will not be able to call the names of the specific organization where I picked up these case studies. So a large IT firm implemented a chat GPT powered chat bot to handle common employee inquiries, resulting in a 25% reduction in a HR administrative task. And it's beautifully to see. I'll also share you within the chat GPT how you can update your own profile. There is a category where you can create your own page, where you upload all your policies, you upload all your processes, and ChatGPT will find the responses only from the content which is provided for your current organization. It will not add on anything over to that. It will pick up the queries and give a response as per the queries raised by the employees of your organization, and it is very, very cost effective and very, very responsive for managing your employee queries. A leading telecom organization leveraged AI insights to optimize their talent pipeline, leading to a 15% increase in the talent retention. Uh, they were able to get the right and the relevant candidates through utilizing the search engines and the chat GPT modules, and they were able to articulate how are they able to sustain their employee retention as well. What they did was every day in the morning, they add a question to everybody. When they open their laptop, there is a pop-up on the screen which asks about what are the key attributes you're kind of focusing on your current organization, and with the responses you understand how connected that employee is. You're able to get a communication and a connectivity score of each and every individual to also identify is there any impact on this individual towards attrition. Do you perceive that this person is taking a multiple leads in the organization? Does that really have a signal to it? So those all indicators really help you take a right decisions. Third one is remote hiring and an onboarding. A multinational telecom provider, ChatGPT and other AI tools to streamline their remote hiring, which reduces their time to hire. So those are the generic roles which are mundane and kind of an easy to hire. Adding the skill sets, making sure you have an AI module interview, basic level interview screening, which is being done. Post that, there is a video connect, which really happens where you get a video connections from the individuals to scan as per the requirements, and finally recording the interview segment, but add a humanizer to it. Please ensure that you have an inhuman interface or a one-on-one conversation with that individual before you take a final decision of onboarding. Don't just blindly go with it, because there is an overall industry wide, it is a terminology saying that there are discussions to change the name of calling it an AI, that is an artificial intelligence, rather making it artificial data provider, because it's not currently utilizing its intelligence. It's only getting the information which is pre-feeded or which is coming from the sources right now. The intelligence part is still to be added by the human beings. So please don't forget that touch of you as an individual which you are adding onto the entire portfolio. So finally, moving towards the conclusion and the takeaways. So yes, we should embrace AI, leverage ChatGPT and other AI tools to streamline your HR processes and free up time for strategic initiatives. Prompt engineering, so using the Create framework to effectively communicate with AI assistants and achieve desired outcomes. So we need to focus on continuous improvement, analyze and refine prompts based on ChatGPT's responses to continuously enhance the AI collaboration. So AI HR, we need to collaborate. We should talk to our Gen AIs on a daily basis, like you're talking to your friend. You should be able to share your positive things. Please always remember, do not express your negative emotions to the chat GPT. It's getting teaching from yours. The moment you're going to be adding anything negative, it also absorbs that and it start giving you responses in a negative manner as well. So always give a right and an accurate response from your end. It should not be your emotions which goes out to your interaction with the chat gpt. This is a lot of organization people end up making such mistakes as well. So by harnessing the power of chat gpt and ai, hr professionals can really help and their departments. Now the last one, I have a quick question to you. How likely do you integrate chat gpt into your hr strategy? How many of you are actually thinking about utilizing chat gpt to your hr domain? Give me yes and no. One more. I want more responses from the people because I have a couple of good pointers to be shared in the next slides. It's important for us to know more about it. Okay. So I think very few people are going to be utilizing this one, looks like. The last bit, and this is very, very important for you to make sure that balancing AI and human judgment in HR. I'll give an example. So, like ATS filtering, most of the people are facing this challenge. Like AI powered ATS can optimize candidate screening, but require human insight oversight to ensure fairness and avoid biased decision. What you as an HR leader has to really do if you're implementing ATS with a search engine features as well, you need to monthly there has to be an audit where you check on what are the kind of screening filters they are picking it up. Are they really adding a lot of this bigger list which might also end up losing out a good talented people? So you need to refine that as per your job descriptions on a regular basis. It should not have all the words coming from it which might end up losing the right candidate. You need to do that particular due diligence from refining the entire filter system on a regular basis. Every job description should have a specific filter but very limited to the numbers which is very specific to the role, and keep it open for you to at least get the right resumes in your inbox. Second is from a performance evaluation perspective. So AI models can provide data driven insights, but human judgment is crucial to understand context, empathize with people, and make nuanced assessment. At times, there are people who are not able to perform on your regular appraisals and the review discussions. Do not just go blindly with the statistics coming from your system and the tool that this is the kind of a rating and this is an output which is coming up. You need to understand whether this person has taken multiple leaves or there is some other challenges that individual is having between that person as well as their manager or not. You need to add that pulse also. What is the kind of a percentage of attrition happening in your organization? It's going up, it's going down. Your leave statistics in the organization, is it going up or is it going down? Those are the statistics you should keep an eye on. What are the key reasons for attrition happening right now? Is it primarily people driven or it is tool driven or it is organizational driven? You need to have those specifics with you every time. Employee communications. So AI powered chat GPT can handle routine queries, but maintaining a personal touch and addressing unique concerns requires human interventions. You cannot replace, no AI can replace human beings. You need to ensure that you are personally available to address that thing because um, at times system can really go wrong, but we cannot. We do have a very solid sixth sense. That is something which we need to keep it alive and make sure that we do a hand in hand and have a good connect with everybody. Um, that's about it from a presentation perspective. I just have one last thing which I wanted to showcase from a chat GPT in terms of updating your profile. It is very important. Each one of you should think about updating your profile on chat GPT or whichever AI tool which you are using right now. One second. So you have to go to your chat GPT. You have to update your profile from this perspective. If I talk about my profile, you need to customize ChatGPT. So customize your interaction with ChatGPT by providing specific details and guidelines. Is my screen visible? Because
Yes,
It is, yes, yeah.
Yes. So these are the area. I've removed mine right now just for my recording perspective. But you have to go and customize ChatGPT. What would you like ChatGPT to know more about you? Better responses. How would you like ChatGPT to respond? So you need to make sure that you update your profile about your level, your role, what kind of responsibilities you own, what are your job description which you focus upon, what kind of a response do you expect, that it has to be professional or it has to have some humanized responses to it, it has to give some humor to it. So you can customize it as per your individual characteristics. The moment you are able to update all these information here, you will be able to see that slowly and gradually it talks like Vikas, it talks like Monica, because it is able to articulate you better. So you need to really groom this as your clone, where you're able to train this person better. And that can only happen when you have a regular and a detailed. So as much as you can speak to the person, that is, treat ChatGPT as a person as much as you can speak to the one, the better response you're going to be receiving. So this is where in nutshell, I would like to conclude and wanted to say thank you so much. Please add your human touch to your AI and make sure that we do justice to what we are doing right now with a much more and a better value added services. So that's about it. And thank you so much. Now open for questions. Can I get a quick thumbs up if the people are able to get the right message from this context? If there are things which you believe you wanted to know more, please tell me right away. We can do a little follow up later as well. I had around 55 slider presentation considering the time frames I have to shorten and crisp it. And yeah, Gamma is my favorite for presentations. This entire presentation was created by Gamma itself. Most of the content was created from there, but you need to modify the requirement from each and every slide. So that's about it. Thank you so much. If you don't have any question, pleasure meeting each one of you today. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Monica. It was a really wonderful session. I hope everyone enjoyed that and got some learning from here. And well, thank you so much, everyone, joining this webinar and make this possible and giving this opportunity to us to share the knowledge and experience. We will be sharing the recording once we finish the webinar, and just keep in touch and wish you happy Diwali to all of you.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for arranging this event and the training for us. It was very helpful. Thank you so much, Monica, for letting us know in detail about this training program. I'm 100% sure that I'm going to implement this in my daily activities, professional life.
Glad to hear. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for Vineet for your feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Happy Diwali, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
ಇದು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅದೇ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ